Hi, good morning, and welcome back to the Realtorney Show. This is the second episode. We're outside for a breath of fresh air. Now, for today, we will discuss the two most important things that you have to do when settling the estate of a deceased relative. All right? So, the first thing that you have to do is to make an inventory of all of those assets and liabilities. So, what are assets that you need to list down? First of all, the assets are the hard assets, meaning the land and the cars. So you have to determine all of or to know all of those land registered in the name of the deceased individual. So it may be titled, it may be untitled, but if it is registered in his name or his or her name, then it has to be put in that list. The second thing are cars or vehicles because they also have registration and you can transfer those vehicles to another person via sale if you don't settle the or if you don't include them in the settlement of the estate. So, what are the things that has to be included in that list? You also have to include the shares of stocks, whether it's listed or unlisted corporations. Also, you have to include the business interests. So, if it's a sole proprietorship, so you have to do that. You have to include those assets there, and also you also have to include the bank accounts. So bank accounts may be a little bit tricky. So you have to know all of those details, the bank account numbers, and also the type of accounts. It's either a current account, a savings account, or it could be a UITF, and or time deposits, and everything that's registered in a financial institution and that is in the name of the deceased person must be included in that list, in that inventory. Now, after that, creating that list of assets, you also have to list the liabilities. So, what are the liabilities that are registered or that are documented? So, you have mortgages, you have loans, personal loans to other individuals or to a financial institutions, stuff like that. All of those liabilities must also be included or listed. Now, if you have cash in the bank, then you could already pay for those mortgages and other liabilities. But if you don't have it, then the settlement of estate requires that you also include those liabilities. Why? Because some of those liabilities may be deducted from the gross estate, the gross value of the estate. So, after having gone all of these, after listing all of these assets and liabilities, the next step now is to get the value of each asset. So, how do you do that? If it's a land, you go to the BIR website and look for the zonal valuation of all of those lands in the different locations. And also, if it has houses, the land have if the land is is or has a house on it, then you also have to get the value of the building or the house erected on that land. Now, what else do we need to get the value of? The cars. So you just go to OLX or the website and look for the latest value of the car because you get the value of the car you get at the time of the death, and also the value of all the land you get at the time of the death. So that's you have to be very mindful of that. The value of all these properties must depend or must be based at the time of the death, and also more importantly, you also have to determine the law that is applicable at the time of death. So, if your deceased relative died sometime before the effectivity of the train law, then the train law does not uh, come into play, or it is not effective settlement and the payment of the estate of that deceased individual. So you have to go back to the former provisions that were amended by the train law, which is the provisions on the estate taxation covered by Republic Act 8424. So having done all of that, I hope you would get a little bit more sense on how to go about it, because there are a lot of questions that I have received regarding on how to settle the estate, or what's the number one or number two steps, or the the, the most important steps that you have to do to get a settlement of estate done. So I hope that you found this very informative. If you do have questions, just email me or send a message in the site or in the website. And I want to know all of the questions in your mind, and so I can be of better service to you. And hopefully you enjoy this episode of the Realtorney Show, and we will be giving you more information as the weeks go by. So hope you like it, and hope you tune in for the next Real Tony show. And the sun is in my eyes right now. So bye for now.